Greetings everyone. Welcome to Arth IAS where clarity meets strategy. Dear aspirants, in today's session we are going to decode GS paper 4, that is ethics and integrity. So whether you are preparing or want to refine your preparation of GS paper 4, then this video is going to help you. So let's see what are we going to discuss in today's session. See, in today's session we are going to discuss 4 key aspects of GS paper 4. What are these 4 key aspects? First we will discuss why GS paper 4 was introduced in the syllabus, right? Then we will discuss the syllabus, means all the key topics of syllabus one by one. Apart from that, to complete the syllabus, you are required to read certain books, certain PDFs, certain study materials. We will discuss all these sources. And lastly, we will discuss the strategy. Strategy means as an aspirant, you need to do and you need to avoid certain things. Right? So let's see. Before starting this session, a small announcement. Soon we are going to launch our micro learning series, that is ethics in 10 minutes, right? And it will be launched on a Arth IAS platform. And under this micro learning series, we will discuss key definitions of ethics, key examples from current affairs, and we will also solve case studies within 10 minutes. As it is a micro learning series, the duration of video will be within 10 minutes, right? Now let's see the main topic. So first, why was GS paper 4 introduced? What was the aim or objective behind the launch of this paper? Right. See, as you do know that this paper was launched in 2013. So before 2013, there was no such paper launched in 2013. First. Second, Administrative Reform Commission had suggested to launch this paper or introduce this paper in syllabus of UPSC Civil Services Examination. Right. So it was also suggestion of Administrative Reform Commission. Right. Another important objective, to promote ethical governance. Right. To promote ethical governance. So ethical governance here, see, when you will become civil servant, right, bureaucrat, you will face certain challenges. Right. Certain challenges means there are corruption, nepotism, red tapeism, lack of transparency, lack of accountability. Right. All these issues are there. Right. So to promote the ethical governance, this paper was launched. Right. It also tests your honesty, integrity, or other values like empathy, compassion, objectivity. Right. It is all these are tested in this paper. Apart from that, it also ensures, means GS paper 4 also ensures that future civil servants are not just knowledgeable but morally sound, public spirited. Morally sound means they have compassion, they have objectivity, they have honesty, they have integrity, they are public spirited. Public spirited means they are ready to serve the people. You are a public servant, you must be ready to serve the people all the time, right? Apart from that, it helps in decision making. In decision making. So decision making, see, again, when you will become civil servant, you will have to make certain decisions. You need to take steps, and especially in complex situations. Complex situations, for example, when you will take decision, right? When you will take a step, ethical dilemma, right, will come. Ethical dilemma, for example, whether you should follow the orders of your seniors or you should speak up. Speak up means if there is corruption or wrongdoing in your department, whether you should remain silent or you should speak up. Such type of ethical dilemma will arise. Right. Apart from that, another type of ethical dilemma like whether you should follow law or you should follow compassion. compassion. For example, you become a future or civil servant, right? So after becoming civil servant, you got the order, right, from your superior or senior to remove the encroachment. But when you went reach the site, right, there were poor people who had made temporary settlements, right, temporary residence. So whether you are going to follow law or you are going to listen to your compassion. So such type of ethical dilemma will come. Right. So again, that time this paper will help you. Right. As I said, it helps in decision making. Apart from that, it also reduces one more thing, that reliance on rote learning. Right. Reduces reliance on rote learning. See, in other papers, you have to memorize the things. You have to, again, to some extent, rote learning is followed. But here in this paper, the scope of rote learning is very less. Though you need to means learn or read definitions, right? You need to maintain the standard of definitions because UPSC has its own standard. But it reduces the reliance, right? Reduces the chance of rote learning. Right? For example, it when it asks philosophy-based questions in 1 year, UPSC had asked question like, what is happiness to you? Right. So the answer of such type of question is not found in any book. You cannot wrote each and everything. You cannot memorize each and everything. Right. That's why the chance of or the application of rote learning is reduced in this way. Right. Here, your analytical thinking, right? Your critical thinking, clarity of thoughts, expression, real life examples are checked. You have to apply your mind. Right. It discourages memorization. And again, it rewards originality. Rewards originality means you give original examples, right? For example, you gave some local example that other aspirants do not know, right? So that time, again, it makes you insightful. That is, so this was all about the logic or reason behind the introduction of this paper. Right now, let's see the syllabus. So syllabus of GS paper 4, ethics and integrity. See, in rest of the GS papers, there is no note in the other GS papers. For example, in GS paper 1, 2, 3, simply topics are mentioned, right? But in GS paper 4, a certain note is mentioned above the topics, right? And it is written in paragraph format, right? I have made it in point format to make you understand in better manner, right? And these are not my words. These words are exactly written in your syllabus, right? So what is the UPSC has expressed its aim or objective, right? That what does it want, right? What does it want from aspirants? So first it says to test candidates attitude and approach, right, to issues relating to integrity, probity in public life. It clearly mentions, right? Again, I am repeating, these are not my words. These words are written in your syllabus, right? So it UPSC wants to test the candidates attitude and approach. What is attitude? What is attitude? Your response, negatively or positively, towards people, issues, or situations. That is the simple definition of attitude. Whether you have positive attitude, negative attitude. For example, what is your attitude towards feminism? Right? What is your attitude towards corruption? Right? All these things are tested here. Again, integrity, related issues relating to integrity and probity. So simply, integrity means it is a balance between, right, your values and action. That is the simple meaning of integrity. When we will discuss, when we will discuss the topic, right, we will discuss in detail, but here simply I am telling you that it is a balance between values and action. That is the simple meaning of integrity. Again, probity. Again, what is probity? See, do not have confusion. Generally aspirants think that probity is honesty or highest level of honesty. No, honesty is just an example of probity. Probity simply means supreme or highest, supreme or highest ethical standards. And supreme or higher ethical standards means here example honesty, integrity, right? All these are example of probity, right? So all these things are tested in this paper. Second, his means candidates, right? His problem solving approach to various issues and conflicts faced by him in dealing with society. Right? Obviously, when you will become civil servant, you will have to deal with people. You will have to work in the society, right? So your problem solving approach is tested. What is your problem solving approach? Are you afraid of problems or are you a solution provider? Right? Are you scared of problems or you provide way forward? Again, it is tested in this paper. And lastly, it says question may utilize case study, right? Case study approach to determine these aspects. These aspects means these two aspects: candidate's attitude and approach, and lastly, and second, problem solving approach. All these are tested through case studies. And again, you must be knowing that the word case study is mentioned in your syllabus. The last topic mentioned in the syllabus is case study, right? So this is aim and objective, that is, or that UPSC test in this paper. Now let's see the topics of syllabus. So this is the syllabus, and in the syllabus you can see that there are 8 topics. 8 topics, right? And out of 8 topics, 7 topics are theory part, right? And 1 topic is application based. Application, right? So last topic, that is case study, it is application based, and rest 7 topics are nothing but theory, right? So that is here, if you want to perform well, right, if you want to fetch good marks in ethics, right, GS paper 4, then you have to prepare or have to create a balance between theory part as well as application part. As in some aspirants, theory is very good. In some aspirants, application is very important, very good, right? But those aspirants perform well who have a proper balance in theory as well as application. So try to have a proper balance between theory and application. And one more thing I would like to tell you, that the beauty of this paper, that is the syllabus is very confined, very limited. As I said, only it mentions 8 topics. Rest GS papers, see the syllabus, right? In rest of the GS papers, the range of topics between 15 to 20 topics, right? For example, in GS paper 2, there are 20 topics, but in GS paper 4, only 8 topics, and 1 is application based, right? Mainly, this is also based on theory, right? You should complete the theory part, or at least some portion of theory part, right? Or majority portion of theory part, then you should solve case studies, right? So it, as I said, 8 topics plus. The beauty of this paper is it is very scoring paper, very scoring paper. And again, when it is scoring paper, it is the deciding factor in your final selection. And what should be your range, right? What should be your aim to of marks in this paper? try to achieve at least 120 to 140. That is decent mark or achievable marks. Right? For example, in 2019, right, one candidate has achieved 160 plus marks, right, in GS paper 4. So you can see that even 160 plus is achievable in this paper, but in rest of the GS papers, right, do the best. In spite of that, the average range is around 100 to 120, 130. But this paper is very scoring paper. And again, one more thing, that here you have to put less effort as comparison to other GS paper. Why less effort? Because topics are very limited. You have to simply revise the topics. You have to apply your mind. You have to become pragmatic. Right? So this was all about the topics. Now let's see the topics. Right? See, these topics means the theory part. Right? Rest the eighth topic is, as I said, application based, but rest 7 topics, right, can be categorized into or under 3 heads. Under 3 heads means first psychology, philosophy, second psychology, and third administration. Right? So you can divide all these 7 topics under 3 heads. Right? 3 heads means, again I am repeating, philosophy, human psychology, and third administration. Right? Let's see. And one more thing, generally students commit a mistake that they simply start or try to complete the syllabus topic wise. Don't do that. This is not the right approach. Right? Don't read or complete the syllabus topic wise. Right? There are certain topics that you have to read or integrate. Right? Try to integrate certain topics. I am telling you. Right? So let's see. As I said, 8 topics are mentioned. Right? And out of these 8 topics, right, these 4 topics and these 3 topics, right, are based on theory. These 7 topics are based on theory, and this is application part. Application. Right? Now, how should you start? Right? From which topic should you start? Now, let's see. See, as I said, you need to integrate certain topics. So, integrate these 2 topics and start from this topic. Right? So, first topic says ethics and human interface. Right? From here, you should start. If you are a beginner, right, or you are going to attempt 2026 or 2027, then you should start from this topic. Right? Or any beginner should start from this topic. So here you will study about ethics and human interface, right? Definition of ethics, determinants of ethics, essence of ethics, right? Certain aspects of ethics, all these things. Apart from that, you will study about human values. Human values. Lesson from lives and teachings of great leaders, reformers, administrators. Role of family, society, and educational institutions in inculcating values. So mainly this topic is categorized into 2 subtopics, ethics and human values. Right? And second topic that you should integrate is contribution of moral thinkers and philosophers from India and world. So here you will study about moral thinkers, philosophers from Socrates, Plato, Gautam Buddha to Dr. Abdul Kalam, Mahatma Gandhi, etc. So it includes both Indian as well as global moral thinkers and philosophers. And these 2 topics are part of philosophy. Which philosophy? Core philosophy. Right? As I said, these 7 topics of theory part can be categorized under 3 heads. So these 2 topics are from philosophy, core philosophy. Right? You need to start from this topic, and after that you should study this topic: moral thinkers, philosophers, India and world. Right? Then you should go for the another theory part, that is from human psychology, right? So this topic is from human psychology. So as I said, the meaning of attitude, simply your response, right? Your response, your tendency in positively or negatively, right, towards people, issues, challenges, right, situations. What is your attitude, right? So here you will study about attitude. Again, it is part of human psychology. What is psychology? Simply study of human behavior and mind. That is a simple definition of psychology. So here you will study about content, structure, functions, influence, and relation with thought and behavior. Right? As I said, what is psychology? The study of human behavior and mind. Right? Moral and political attitudes, social influence and persuasion. Then you will study aptitude and foundational values for civil services. What is the meaning of aptitude? Right? So simply, when we talk about aptitude, it is your natural skill or talent, right, to solve any problem. Simple. Your natural talent or skill. That is the simple meaning of aptitude. Right? It is attitude. Attitude reflects your behavior, your thought. Right? But aptitude reflects your talent, your skill. For example, in CSET, your aptitude is tested. Right? But in ethics paper, your thought, your behavior is tested. So, for example, in some students, CSET, they have already there, or they have aptitude, right? But we all have attitude, right? Attitude in positive manner or negative manner, right? Again, integrity, as I said, it is nothing but balance between values and action, right? For example, when others are watching you, you are honest, right? And are you honest when no one is watching you, right? That is integrity, right? So again, impartiality, non-partisanship, objectivity, dedication to public services, empathy, right? Empathy, tolerance, compassion towards weaker section, right? So all this you will study under this topic. Then lastly comes emotional intelligence. Simply, what is emotional intelligence? Ability to control and regulate your emotions. Are you able to control or regulate your emotions in certain situations, in certain conditions, right? Again, it is part of human psychology, right? If you are from psychology background, you better understand. So concepts, their utilities and application in administration and governance, right? So these are part of human psychology. And last two topics, that is related with administration. So you should integrate these two topics. First, you will start from first two topics I have mentioned, then go for three topics, that is part of human psychology, and then come to these two topics. Right. First is public or civil services values and ethics in public administration. Right. As I said, part of administration. Again, probity in governance. Right. See, these two topics overlap with governance topic of GS paper 4. But what is the difference? For example, in GS paper 2, under the topic governance, you will study about RTI, right to information, right? But here you will have to study from ethical perspective, right? From governance in GS paper 2, under the topic of governance, you need to study from legal perspective, right? But here you have to study from ethical perspective. Though same topic is mentioned, but here you will have to apply your ethics, your morality, like citizen charters. All these are a part of GS paper 2's governance topic, but here you will have to study from ethical perspective, right? And lastly, case studies on the above issues, right? Last topic of the syllabus. So here I would suggest that first complete a major portion of syllabus of theory part, right? Then solve case studies, right? Because it is basically application part. And as I said, that you should be balanced in theory as well as application. So, and again, if you see the previous year question papers, the weightage of marks in theory part and application part, that is case study, is equal, almost equal, right? So, again, you should distribute your time while solving, means while writing the paper in your main examination or even in your mocks, right? You should be balanced, right? Do not, you cannot ignore a case study. If you are ignoring case study, it means you are creating, or you are, it is a blunder, right? So have a balance, have a balance. And again, how to deal with case studies, how to solve case studies, I will make a separate video on that. Otherwise this, the duration of this video will be longer, right? Now sources, right, that you should follow. Now see, first I provide my class notes, right? My class notes. So how will you get my class note? For that, join our Telegram group. The link is given in the description box, right? So join the Telegram group, you will find the PDF that I provide, and it is free of cost. Then for your psychological satisfaction, and one more thing I would like to tell you, that I have tried to complete or cover the syllabus comprehensively, right? But your, for your psychological satisfaction, right, you need to read, or you need to have a book, right? Just one book, not multiple books. As I said, topics from theory part mentions or are from psychology, philosophy, and what, administration. So don't read books from books of philosophy or psychology. Don't do that. Right? My notes are, or my notes cover the syllabus comprehensively, right? But for your psychological satisfaction, book, one book, only one book, right? I am telling the name of 3 books, right? Book, 3 books, go for one book, what suits you, right? So first book, you all know the name, Lexicon, right? Lexicon publication. This book is quite good. Another book, right? If you don't want to read that book, you can go for another book, that is G Subbarao and P.N. Roy Chaudhary, right? P.N. Roy Chaudhary, right? You can go for this book, right? And lastly, you can go for another book if you don't want to read these 2 books, then that is McGraw Hill publication, right? Again I am repeating, go for only one book, either this or this, only one book for your psychological satisfaction. And one more thing I would like to tell you, that no book is complete. Though again they try to cover the syllabus comprehensively, but no book is complete, right? As I said, UPSC ask question, right? Some questions that you will not find the answer of such questions, right? Apart from that, one report of second ARC is very important, right? So you must read that report. Fourth report of second ARC, right? Fourth report of second ARC, and the name of report is Ethics in Governance. I am writing Ethics in Governance, right? You must read this report. Without this, means it will help you to enrich your answer in GS paper 4. Apart from that, right, one PDF that is required is PDF of DOPT, Department of Personnel and Training, and the name of PDF is Values in Administration. Values in Administration, right? Again, read this PDF, very important. Apart from that, one more important thing, as I said, that it rewards originality. So how will you bring originality? To bring originality, you need to read newspaper, right? And newspaper which, for example, editorials, articles, columns, that is written from ethical perspective, right? So again, here, editorial or column from newspapers, right? That is written from ethical perspective, right? And it is not necessary that you will find such type of articles only in the Hindu or Indian Express. There are other papers too, right? And usually such type of editorials or column are written very less or occasionally, right? But you will have to keep an eye, right? Apart from that, one more important thing I would like to tell you, that maintain a personal diary. Why personal diary, right? For example, you got an example, like a case study from editorial column of newspaper. Note that in your personal diary, right? And again, I would like to suggest that make your personal diary mostly in electronic format, right? Online, it will help you to update. Otherwise, the choice is yours whether you can make it handwritten or online, right? So apart from that, you cannot ignore one important thing, that is, we all know PYQs, right? Without this, your preparation is incomplete, right? So like other GS papers, including optional, the role of PYQs are very important in this paper, right? And even some topics are repeated, you can see, right? Same questions are repeated, because as I said, the syllabus is very limited, but it has wider scope. For example, moral thinkers and philosophers, right? So many moral thinkers are philosophers in India and world, right? So this was all about the required sources for GS paper 4, right? Lastly, let's see, we have discussed each and every aspect. Last aspect, that is strategy. So what is the right strategy? Under this is, we will discuss do's and don'ts. Do all these things that I have said, right? But do certain things and avoid certain things that I am going to tell you. So first we will discuss do's, right? So I am telling that first you need to understand the syllabus. We have discussed the syllabus in comprehensive manner, right? Apart from that, you need to categorize the syllabus, right? You need to break the syllabus topic wise, subtopic wise, or theme wise, right? So understand first, understand the syllabus. Syllabus, as I said, break them into topics, right? Subtopics or themes. And again, what will you do? That make notes, right? Make notes of key terms that is mentioned in the syllabus: honesty, integrity, probity, transparency, accountability, right? Empathy, compassion, all this. You should have a proper definition. And definition means not written in layman term, right? In standard term, but avoid complex terms, right? Complex definition, but maintain that as standard, because UPSC has its own standard. So you need to maintain the standard even in your definitions, right? So understand the syllabus, this, and break them into topics, subtopics, right? Apart from that, focus on conceptual clarity, right? Conceptual clarity. See, as I said, that this paper reduces reliance on rote learning. So, and again promotes conceptual clarity and checks your critical thinking and analytical thinking, right? So practice conceptual clarity. Focus on concept rather than rote learning, right? Even original definitions are accepted if it is written in standard and error-free language, right? Apart from that, one more thing very important is what? Develop emotional intelligence, right? Emotional intelligence, this is very important. When you will study about emotional intelligence, you will understand what is the importance of emotional intelligence in our life, whether it is public life or personal life, right? Role of emotional intelligence is very important. You need to regulate, you need to control your emotions in particular situations, right? You cannot be emotional all the time, even you are right, right? So develop emotional intelligence, though it will take time, it is a gradual process, but while studying, while preparing, you must develop your EI, emotional intelligence, right? It will not only help you in cracking the examination, but it will also help you in your public and personal life, right? Apart from that, there are develop certain values, right? Compassion, empathy, these are required value, right? These are nothing but not only values but jewels in your personality, right? So practice emotional intelligence. Try to have empathy, compassion, forgiveness, honesty, integrity, right? For example, what is honesty? Honesty simple means when your thought, word, and action is one, right? For example, in Sanskrit, a slok is there: manas ekam vachas ekam karman ekam. It means let my thought, word, and action be one. So when your thought, word, and action is one, you are honest, right? And honesty is very, or you can say, you it no there is no substitute of honesty, especially for cracking this examination. If you are not honest, you cannot crack this examination. No, I am not saying that each and every honest aspirant will crack this examination, but honesty is must to crack this examination, right? Then, as I said, revision plus practice. These two are very important, right? Revision means revise the topics regularly, right? And practice. Practice means basically answer writing, right? Answer writing and solving case studies. Quite clear. So revision and practice is very important. And you can never ignore, that is PYQs. Never ignore PYQs. As I said, topics are repeated, right? Questions are repeated. You can check. And PYQs from 2013, right? As this paper was launched in 2013, so from 2013 to recently conducted exam, that is May 2025. PYQs of last 12 to 13 years are very important, right? Now, don'ts. So we have discussed what should you do. Now, what should you avoid? There are certain don'ts that you are supposed to avoid certain things. First, avoid rote learning, right? Avoid rote learning. Initially, I have said that this paper reduces the reliance on rote learning. So avoid rote learning. Though you need to remember certain definitions, but try to or try to make a conceptual clarity, right? So avoid rote learning. Second, do not be overly idealistic, right? Don't be overly idealistic. So overly idealistic means what? You are just giving philosophy, right? Even in your answers, but no practical solution, right? Even in your case study. So don't be. That is called overly idealistic, right? Be action oriented, not only but just philosophy based or theory based, but action oriented. Apply. Try to learn or the method of application, right? Then one more thing, that is avoid jargon or, as I said, complex language, right? Or complex language, right? For example, if you are from psychology background or philosophy background, or your optional paper is psychology or philosophy, right? You are using very complex words, even the examiner is not able to understand. There are so many complex words in philosophy or even psychology, right, that even examiner will not be able to understand. Avoid such things, right? So avoid jargon or complex language, right? Apart from that, don't copy, right? Quotes generally, people think or aspirants think that ethics means remembering lot of quotes, memorizing a lot of quotes and using them in their answer, right? Do not use these quotes blindly, right? If it is required, use quotes, but do not, as I said, quotes, if you are overly using quotes, it means what? It is reflecting that you are overly idealistic. So avoid quotes if it is not required. And if you are using quotes, try to include hardly one or two quotes in your in one answer, right? And lastly, do not avoid revision. Do not avoid revision plus practice. Practice means answer writing practice, right? So in this video we have discussed all the key aspects of GS paper 4, that is ethics and integrity. I hope this video is useful for you. We will meet in another important lecture. Till then, keep revising, keep practicing. Thank you.